So in this video we're going to look at the nature of roots, die aard van die wortels. Alright, so remember the nature of roots, whenever it gets to question 2, this is always we're going to have nature of roots, always at the end of question 1. But you need to use this formula. Your discriminant, your triangle, equals to b squared minus 4ac. So if you don't even know what to do, this is what you always need to do. Alright, so let's read question 1. They say, bepaal die numeriese waarde van die discriminant. Okay, so calculate the numerical value of a discriminant. So the fact that they are asking for a discriminant immediately tells me that I have to use what they have given me, which is this part. Oh my word. Okay, so I need to immediately take the discriminant, or this part they gave me here, and I have to go and calculate the discriminant. So I start by writing down my formula. Triangle equals to b squared minus 4ac. Now, from this, I must go and determine what is my b, what is my a, what is my c. So my a value is going to be that imaginary 1, my b is going to be 2, and my c is going to be 1. And now you just substitute that. So into b I'm putting 2 squared minus 4, a is 1, and c is 1. Alright, and then I calculate this in my calculator, and it gives me an answer of 0. So that is the numerical value, your numerische waarde. Alright, so my discriminant is equal to 0. Now I can go on to the next question, ask you to describe the nature of a root. Okay, beskryf die aard van die wortel. So now it means I need to know what is this. So remember, there's 3 things you need to mention. The first one is you need to mention, is it equal or unequal? So gelijk of ongelijk. So when it is equal, it will be equal to 0. If it is unequal, your answer will not be 0. It can be 2, 5, minus 7, but anything that's not 0. Then you need to go on and say, okay, is this real or non-real? Now, a real answer will be any positive answer, and a non-real, a nie-reële getal, will be anything that has a minus. Alright, and then the last one is you need to say, is it rational or irrational? So is it rational or irrational? Well, I take whatever my discriminant is, I put it in a square root, and then if it gives me no decimals, it is rational, and if it gives me decimals, then it is irrational. Alright, so what was the discriminant answer we got here? We got 0. So now I must go and describe it. So firstly, is it equal or unequal? Well, the fact that it is equal to 0 tells me it is equal. So it's gelijk. Then is it real or not real? Well, remember 0 counts as a positive number, so it has to be real. And then, is it rational or irrational? Well, if I put 0 into a square root, it gives me an answer of 0. So there's no decimals, so it makes it a rational number. Alright, so that is how you describe it. Then they can ask you the second question. So this is the easy one. So they give it to you, they ask you to calculate the discriminant and describe it. Dan die tweede type vraag wat jy kan kry, the second type of question looks like this. Okay, so let me just quickly write one. Alright, so here we have a question now. So it is given that x squared minus 3px is equal to 6, where p has real, or where p is real numbers. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is always get this back into your original form. So to get it back in my standard form, x squared minus 3px equals to 6, I need to take this 6 and I have to take it over. So it becomes x squared minus 3px minus 6 equal to 0. That's your first thing. Now they tell you, show, for example, show that this has irrational roots. Okay, so wys dat hierdie irrasionele wortels het. Right. So if I want to prove that something has irrational roots or any roots, what is the thing I must think of? The moment I read roots, or whenever I read anything in this question, is I need to go and calculate my discriminant. So my discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac. Alright, now what is b? b is going to be minus 3 as well as b, because both of those terms are in front of it. So it's minus 3b squared minus 4, a will be 1, and c will be minus 6. So if I calculate this, I'm going to get 9b squared, and this is going to give me plus 24. Alright, now I still need to get the value of p. Now remember what they said at the beginning. They said where p is a real number. Real number means it has to be a positive number, meaning it has to be greater than 0. No? Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to put my 0 there, and it has to be greater than 0 for it to be a positive number. And now I'm just going to solve it. So what's the first thing I have to take over? It's going to be this, plus 4, 24. And if I take it over, it becomes minus 24. So then I have minus 24, 2p squared, and then I divide both sides by 2, which gives me minus 12 less than p squared. Alright, and then this is not going to work out because I cannot have a root, but this would have been the idea. So whatever your answer would have been, you would have gotten the value of p here, and then you put it into your calculator under the square root. So let's say it was positive 12, then you will see, okay, it gives me decimal, so it's an irrational number. Alright, but the most important thing with this is first get your thing in standard form. Then after it's in standard form, you go and put it into your discriminant formula, and when you go back to what they originally said, so because they said it's a real number, I know it has to be greater than 0. And then I just go on and calculate it. Alright, so the nature of roots really isn't difficult. The main thing you just need to do the entire time is calculate your discriminant.